we had a bit of a strange few weeks just talking about coronavirus every day.
Yeah.
So I just thought it'd be a bit nicer just to do something a bit different. Just talk about your career.
Perfect.
Yeah, just kind of maybe some stuff that people might not know in terms of, just your career at Newcastle and Liverpool, and even like, your early career in Spain as well, because that might be actually something that kind of everyone knows that you played for Newcastle and Liverpool for such a long time, but actually you had a career before that as well at Spain, which could be quite interesting to get into, I think.
Perfect.
So actually, yeah, if we actually just start with talking about that, mate, you obviously started your career at Levante, if I'm right, yeah.
Yeah, well, I started obviously in the like under 15, under 16. That was my career in Levante, really. And then I play like in League One team, really. It's second division B. It's called here in Spain. And they called me for the World Cup under 20. That really I was the only player from second division B. The rest was from first division, was Cesc Fabregas, Fernando Llorente, Juan Fran from Atletico Madrid. We have Garrido that played for Manchester City, left back as well. Like that time was playing for Real Sociedad. So I was really surprised to get called, really. I was playing really well, yeah, but obviously it was really surprising to go with all these people, and it was amazing. Raúl Albiol, I think he was there as well, if I'm not sure, I'm not wrong. Yeah, we have an amazing team. And nothing, I went there, obviously expecting not play one game, just maybe play the last game of the group that we know we are already qualified for the next game. And nothing, I went there, and in the second game, after 20 minutes, Garrido got injured. And I played. I did really well. We played the second game. We played the third game against Chile. We beat them 9-0. I did really, really well. He was playing Matias Fernandez. I don't know if you remember him. He used to play for Villarreal as well. They played a good fee for him as well. Nice guy as well. And nothing. I did really good World Cup. We got eliminated by the Argentinian of Lionel Messi, Sergio Aguero, and Zabaleta. We got
not bad players.
Not bad players, yeah. We got, and they won the champions after, obviously. And Messi was the best player of the tournament, top scorer, and everything like that. Was that after they promote him to the first team? After that World Cup, they promote him to the first team, and he made that game against Juventus. You remember that he went under Vieira's legs, and it was after that World Cup. And well, that changed my career, really. I went from League One, really. I did a very, very good World Cup. They put me in the starting 11 of the World Cup as a left back. Even I went to the quarterfinals maximum. But I did really well, and Valencia signed me for 600,000 euros in that time.
So how old were you when that happened? When Valencia signed you?
I was 19.
So that's obviously a pretty big deal. One of the biggest clubs in Spain coming for you at 19 years of age.
Yeah, 19 years of age, coming from League One, really. That I never play even in second division. My first year I played in second division was my last season as a player. I played for Zaragoza here.
Yeah.
So imagine. So I never played in second division, and all of a sudden you play in one of the biggest teams in Europe, really, in that time as well. And Valencia is a big team. Obviously, they won things. So it was surprising, but it was good for me because I had like 2-3 days holidays. So it wasn't too much holidays, really.
Okay.
But obviously I went to the precision on fire, completely very, very fit from the World Cup, and I did really well. But even then, Quique Sánchez Flores, that was the manager, didn't really won me because he didn't know me really much, really, and he didn't want to take the risk. Was his first chance in a big team and everything like that, so I completely understand that.
Sure.
So I went to Celta de Vigo on loan with David Silva, both of us. We went on loan from Valencia to Celta de Vigo. We played for a year there. I played all right. I did a good season. It wasn't the best. I did good, okay. So I come back to Valencia, but they didn't want me to stay. They want me to send me on loan again.
Sure.
And I said, no, I stay or they sell me. I'm not going to be a player that goes on loan 2,000 times. So they say, okay, let's see if something come up for you. And Celta Vigo came and Villarreal came. Obviously, Villarreal is half an hour away from home, really, from Valencia. and they played the semi-final of the Champions League the year before. So that they lost against Arsenal. I don't know if you remember the game.
Oh, I remember it very well. Don't know if you can see that Arsenal scarf there in the background. So yeah, I remember that very well, mate.
We stop the interview right now. Then we stop the interview. So yeah, that Riquelme missed the penalty and everything. So I signed for them the year after, exactly the year after. I signed for them under Manuel Pellegrini.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play. I played one game or two games until December. Really, I didn't play me much, but it was really strange situation because Manuel Pellegrini, he really liked me. I was the only player staying after trainings with him by myself. Training by witnesses.
What was he like as a manager, Pellegrini?
He was good. He was a good manager. Obviously, like any managers, I believe now more, but before, not a lot of managers didn't trust too much in young players. Now it's more often. Obviously, you put young players, and there's a lot of young talents in the world. But in that time, it wasn't like this. 12 years ago, it wasn't like that. As a young player, to make it to the first team was a lot harder than now, in my opinion. Obviously, it's just my opinion. So I went there. It was Arrobarrena in front of me. I don't remember if you remember him, Argentinian left back. And to be honest, he wasn't playing well either. So, but well, I played the game. I remember in December, I played the game against Valladolid in the cup. I remember like it was yesterday. I played awful the game. Awful. I played
really?
bad.
What did you do? Why were you so bad?
Well, I was bad because I wasn't fit enough. I was nervous because it was my chance to play and everything like that. And then, without knowing, I after the game I saw finish. Now I will have to go on loan or whatever. Yeah. So before that, before I play against Valladolid, I spoke with the president, with Fernando Roig. In that time was the dad, still the dad involved, but now it's more his son. But it was the dad in that time, Fernando Roig. And I told him that I wanted to go on loan, that it was the best for my career because Pellegrini was talking to me a lot and he was really happy with me, but never play me. And he said that no chance. He trusts me and he know I'm gonna get that place. And obviously I got very surprised what this was. Obviously it's the president, is the owner. So I say, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing. So I have the chance against Valladolid in the cup. I did awful, and I thought, wow, I'm done now. I'm finished. Yeah, definitely. But I didn't know Arrobarrena had 5 yellow cards the game after in the league.
Okay. So he gave you a chance to another game for you.
He gave me another game. We play against Atletico Bilbao away from home in San Mamés, in the old San Mamés. It was amazing as well to play there. I play against Javi Martinez, who used to play for, well, still playing, I believe.
For Bayern Munich, yeah.
Munich, and I did an amazing game. I played really, really well. Obviously, he has to keep me in the starting 11 after this game. We played Seville against Sergio Ramos on the right back. He played.
That must have been fun. Did he get a yellow card?
Yeah, definitely got a yellow card, and we killed him between me and Marcos. Who was the guy in front of me? That he was really young player as well. He was 20 as well. We killed him that game. He was really. Yeah. And then we played Real Madrid. I played really well, and I just keep on that position. I just keep playing. I did really well them 4 or 5 months, and I was in the best starting 11 on the league that year, just in 4 or 5 months. So I was really lucky for that. And Newcastle signed me that summer.
I guess that just shows what the momentum can do, right? You just got in the team. You had one bad game, but if the left back in front of you didn't have that yellow card, that season may never have happened for you. It's funny how the little things can work out like that, right?
It's football. At the end, I always say that. Obviously, I've been lucky enough, and I've been obviously blessed as well with qualities to play football. That's why I've been involved in football for so long until I got injured. But the reality, you need some luck from the one there, from the one upstairs, because obviously football is about momentum. Then obviously the most difficult thing is when you're there, keep obviously staying there. But to get there as well is very difficult because, like you say, if he didn't have that 5 yellow cards, probably maybe I go alone, maybe I do really well, maybe I don't. You don't know, and that's where it takes you. And me doing really well made me sign for Newcastle. And it's just in 4 or 5 times period, really. That's what it changed really the life of a footballer for good or for bad. So that's why I always say that as a football player, you have to enjoy the good moments and the bad moments, try to take them, learn from them, and keep going as well. Because if you keep working, at the end, you have your chance and you're going to take it. And that's what I did. I had my chance. The first time, obviously, was difficult. I was really young. Villarreal just played the semi-final of the Champions League the year before. I was playing with Riquelme, Forlan, so the team was amazing. Robert Pires, like, we have an amazing team. Marcos Senna, so top team. So it was pressure, but then after that game, I realized, I have another chance, so let's take it. And then look, my career after that I was happy with it. Obviously,
just kept going. Tell me a little bit about Riquelme, because I think he's got a bit of a cult following. People seem to really love him as one of their favorite players. Riquelme, what was he like to sort of train with and play with?
As a player, he was different class. That's what you could see sometimes. You see, he's slow with the ball and everything. And I will always remember something that was incredible, because he used to play on the left side for Villarreal. And I remember giving the ball, and sometimes I see him with pressure, with maybe 1-2 players pressing him and everything like that. And obviously I didn't want to go forward, because I say, if he lost the ball, they're going to catch it in the counter-attack.
Yeah, and it'll be your fault for giving it to him.
It was my fault. He said, don't worry. He always said to me, don't worry. You give me the ball and you go. And don't worry that the ball will get in front of you. I remember that. It was yesterday. And he was with 2 players fighting, boom, all the shooting, boom, boom, the ball there in front of you, bam. And you go like, wow, from nothing. You just run, he take the players, put his body. He used to use his body incredibly well. Very clever player, very, very clever. And then, boom, the ball in front of you, but not in front of you and you have to run. No, in front of you, like perfect for you to get it and keep going. Like
he can make you look good.
Yeah, exactly. Make you look good. Yeah, like Luis Suarez. It's this type of play that make you look good. Yeah. It was unbelievable. Riquelme was an unbelievable player.
That's great. That's interesting, man. I just want to go a little bit back to something you said as well, Jose. Just it seems like you at a young age had quite a lot of confidence to obviously talk to, be honest with your managers, and you even said you spoke to the president of Villarreal. That's quite a big thing, I think, for a young kid. Have you always had that confidence from since you were young to if you wanted something, you were confident to speak to anyone about it and you knew what you were going to do? Because I was also going to say you were offered to go out on loan as well, and I know a lot of young players now will just go from loan to loan to loan to loan. But it sounds like you never wanted to do that as well. Is that something you always had in your head?
Yeah, I have in my head, because I didn't want Valencia pay a transfer fee for me to obviously to be in the first team. I understand I was a young player. They want to send you 1 year on loan. I did all right, okay, but maybe you don't see me good enough for Valencia, so it's fair enough, and but obviously you don't see me good enough for Valencia. Why I'm gonna go on loan again? Why? Because it's interested for you, no? It's not interested for me, So interested for me is to go somewhere that they want me and I can play. And I was on loan in Celta Vigo, and Celta Vigo wanted to buy me, and Villarreal wanted to buy me. So I said, listen, I'm gonna stay here. They're gonna send me on loan again somewhere, and really, I'm gonna have to come back here. And if the manager is still the same manager, I know how managers are, how people are in general. If a manager doesn't want you, he doesn't want you. Simple as that. So he didn't want me for whatever reason. So I have to find something else, and I always have the balls, in it's a bad word maybe to use, but I will have the balls, to speak for myself, and that's personality. But everyone is different, Some people talk more, some people talk less. For me, when I've never been scared to speak with anyone. For me, they are all we are all humans, we are all people. And I go to the president, like, obviously, you go a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, of course you do.
Did you go to him, or did he go to you? Did you get your agent to call him? How does that work?
Yeah, well, my agent called him, and obviously we have a meeting and we chat, because I like the things. Obviously, the agent was my brother, and I trust my brother everything he says. But I wanted to see by myself what you say in my face. If it's good or bad, you say in my face. And like this, I don't know for someone else. And he said that. Obviously, I couldn't leave, because from the owner, he tells you, you're not going to leave. He trusts you. So, and then he was right to trust me. They didn't even wanted to sell me to Newcastle. I forced that sell, because obviously it was good for me, because as well, they saw me when they sell me to Newcastle. What they did is they signed Capdevila on loan on loan, sorry, a free agent to Villarreal, and he was the starting player for the national team.
So they had a good deal there as well.
Yeah, they have a good deal there. So I thought, well, yeah, I could really I believe I can be him, and I can get in the national team. But in my life, what I always think is, I would be like this. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I always don't like that. What can be the positive of things and the bad things? You have to think, if I do this, that's the positives and then the negatives, and then you have to decide if it's good or not. So the positive was, they sank at the Villa. Positive, it can happen. Yeah, I take my place, because obviously when they sign him, they probably promise him that he's going to play. So I have to start from zero again, but I can take my place back and go to the national team.
Sure.
The worst it can happen is I'm not playing at all. And obviously, maybe next year I have to go on loan again. I have to go to try to prove myself again, when right now I have an offer from a club that is massive in England. It's a big club with big fan base. With, obviously they want to pay a big transfer for me. The most important thing, they want me. They want to pay a big transfer for me because they want me.
Yep.
So why am I gonna stay here when obviously they sign a player that they want them to play? So I always did that in my life. Always put everything in perspective, for good and for bad. What can happen if I do this, for good and for bad? And in that time, it compensated me more to go to Newcastle. Obviously, it was an easy decision for me. They came all the summer. They came to so many games that we played, friendly games. They were looking at me. Obviously, before they sign you, they want to make sure you are the right person, to sign you. And more, they pay £9 million for a left back. I was 20 in that time, so obviously it's not easy. So yeah, it was the right move. Was the right move for me to go. Yeah, definitely.
Sure. So that deal was more than 9 million in the end, was it, to Newcastle? That was obviously that's a lot of faith and to spend on a player on a different league, a young player as well. That, I guess, that's one of the, like you said, that's one of the reasons you were convinced they wanted you so badly.
Exactly. At the end, it's what you have to do. At the end, you have to go where they want you. At the end, and for me, Villarreal in that time, for example, of course, they knew they wanted me, obviously, but you signed me the starting player for Spain. Yeah. So obviously, I understand. I need competition in any team. You need competition, but obviously, you promise him something, coming more free as an agent.
Sure.
You promise him that he's gonna play. And if he doesn't play, he's not gonna be happy. And who is the easy to take off? The young player, obviously.
Of course.
That's always like that. So what I thought, I said, listen, if I don't have anything, I'm gonna stay here and fight for my place. But if I do have something, that I do have something, obviously, and if it's better, obviously for me is as a fan base, as a club, everything is much better than Villarreal. Even if Villarreal played the semi-final of the Champions League,
sure.
Newcastle is a massive team, and in England it's massive. And massive players they play for Newcastle, so it was big. They wanted to pay big money for me, in terms of transfer fee. So I thought, they want me, what I'm doing here, when I'm in a place that maybe they don't want me as much, because that's why they sank at the Villa. So it was an easy decision. So I say, let's go there and prove myself in England.
Who from Newcastle was? How did that move come about? Who was getting on your case? Was it from Sam Allardyce, or was it from other people? Were you speaking to before to get to who were interested in you there?
To be honest, it was interesting from the club, much from the manager. I don't believe Sam really knew me much, really, because I believe in that time you weren't able really to look too much at other leagues. Really, more as a manager, you are more focused in your games, in your league. So it was an advice from the club to sign me. Obviously, Sam Allardyce, when I arrived there, he was watching games of me when I arrived there. I remember he was watching me against Messi, and he said, "Messi, nothing." I remember him saying that, and it was funny. I have the medical, and after the medical, even before they signed me the contract or anything, I went to obviously to the training ground, and they have, I'm not sure now, but I believe they still do a training pitch that obviously is closed door.
Sure.
It's artificial pitch, obviously because it's snow and it's cold there. So sometimes you're training in there. And they made me a fitness test that they kill me. And after the fitness test, I said to my brother, I said, listen, I'm not sure, maybe fly back. Let's
go back. Let's play Messi instead. That's easier.
Yeah, it's easier. Tiki-taka, that that amount of running, it was crazy. It was crazy. It's a funny story. It's a funny story.
That's brilliant. So they really put you through it, yeah? Real hard fitness test.
Yeah, really hard fitness test.
Nothing before.
And even before you sign, and as well, when I arrived to Newcastle, what people don't know, I arrived from. I didn't pull my hamstring, but I was for a week struggling to train because my hamstring was tight.
Sure.
So I arrived there, and instead of going slow, the first thing you do is let's go and do a fitness test.
Try and kill you.
I said to my brother, say Salva. It's called Salva. I say, they want to get me injured. Say arrive or what's up here?
Maybe they were trying to get the price down. Maybe try and knock a few million quid off.
Exactly. Maybe don't know. But yeah, it was funny, and obviously I did it, and obviously passed the medical was before as well. Obviously signed the contract, and then the rest was nice. Obviously at the start was difficult, but it was really nice in Newcastle. It was really nice.
Cool. Just before we talk about Newcastle, I just want to bring up some. You just mentioned Messi really quickly. I don't think I can carry on without asking you about him. What was he like to face? Because I know Big Sam obviously said you had him in your pocket, but could you just tell us or tell me, sorry, what he was actually like to face coming up against him? Because obviously most people think he's the best player in the world, maybe best player ever.
For me, the best player ever. Obviously, I didn't have the chance to watch Maradona match. Obviously, by clips that you can see on YouTube and everything, it's not the same. I believe the football before was slower than now. But obviously he was even taking drugs and things like that. He was playing at that level as well, so it was incredible, So you will never know because you're never gonna see them play at the same time. You never know. But for me, yeah, he's the best player in history. And that game was we beat them 2-0. I remember completely. It was the front three was Ronaldinho, Eto'o, and Messi. So imagine the front three.
Amazing. And
we beat them. 2-0 that game. And the key was really Pellegrini told me that I was really offensive fullback, and he told me I remember I was really surprised because was the only winger to do that in that time.
Sure.
And when I tried to push forward, I look and he stays. He didn't defend me.
Really? No, doesn't care. Just
no, don't care. I'm staying here. You go. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's not a massive chance that really, you can score from across, you can from, but my job is not that. So I let midfield cover me. But don't worry, in the counter-attack, I'm going to kill you. So what I did is Pellegrini said, listen, don't go as much forward as you can. Stay with him. Even if it's difficult for you, stay with him. And Josico, who was a defensive midfield, he said, you stop him on the outside, and he stopped him on the inside. And to be honest, we did a very nice game. Very nice game. Obviously, sometimes he passes you. It's Messi. It's
going to happen once or twice, right?
It's going to happen. It's Messi. But I believe we did a pretty good game. We beat them 2-0. Obviously, they have chances. The top Ronaldinho in that time as well was unbelievable. Eto'o, I always love him. It was unbelievable. Sure. So yeah, it was incredible to play against him. For me, it's, like I said, it's the best player. It's the best player. Face it, definitely.
Did you come up against him many times as well in Spain, or was it just that a few times there? How many? Do you remember how many?
Two times. Two times. And the biggest time obviously was that Villarreal. Sure. And I played against him with Argentina when he was. Of course, So them 2 times really.
And you said you could tell from that, even at that young age, he was going to be amazing, right?
He was already, you could see, he was already not against us, against everyone. He was already different class, was playing, starting. Like I said, in that time, it wasn't easy to play as a young player in the first team. And Guardiola put him straight away with the first team and starting with Ronaldinho and Eto'o. And you have Yuli, you have other players there, Larsson as well, you have big players with big names, and you put the kid straight away. Obviously, you have to know. And Guardiola said it all the time when he said in a press conference, and they asked him about. He said, from the first day I saw him, I said, with this guy, we want to win a lot of things.
Really?
And it's the truth. Yeah. At the end, he's different to everyone. It's different.
But like you said, I mean, you had a good team yourself. But I mean, it's interesting. We talk about big names, Messi. I know he's the best player in the world. But if we get back to Newcastle. I was looking last night at sort of the dressing room that you had there. I think you mentioned it before. You had some really some big names in there: Shay Given, Emre, Joey Barton, Michael Owen, Damien Duff, James Milner, Alan Smith, Viduka. That's a pretty impressive changing room to come into. Did you? Yeah. Was that also one of the reasons when you thought I'm joining a really big club here with a great squad as well?
Yeah, they were playing Europe the year before. and obviously, like you say, they were massive names from players that they've been playing. Nicky Butt was there, Femi Martins was there as well. So names that they've been playing in big teams. They play in Champions League. They play and the club was spending money as well. They sold it that summer, I believe, to McCasley. They signed me. I don't remember if McCasley signed me or the owner before. I believe it was the owner before, and they changed to McCasley that summer.
Sure.
The same summer. But they were spending so much money in players, and obviously that's why we believe that I'm arrived there. I'm gonna fight for to be in the top 6 at least, and obviously we did them for a few seasons. Yeah.
What was that? What was the dressing room like? Because the kind of the name that stands out to me there is kind of Joey Barton, just because he's obviously people know him in obviously in the UK as a controversial character. I think he sort of cleaned up his image by doing a lot of radio, and obviously now he's a manager at Fleetwood. But obviously in his playing days, he was kind of either loved or hated. What was he actually like in the dressing room?
Joey Barton, like you can see, he's a special person. He's special. Joey is special. But as a teammate, to be honest, I really get with him. Really, sure. He's really funny. In the dressing room, he was one of the players that I have. And more with my English, that I wasn't the best in that time, and okay. he was always with me. To be honest, he was really supportive with me, really helping me in a lot of things. So I have no bad words for him, to be honest. In that terms, obviously, I know he's done so many things outside of the pitch and on the pitch. He was a quite dirty player as well. I was lucky to have him on my team.
He seems like someone you'd want on your team. You wouldn't want to play against him, but on your team, you'd love him, I think.
Exactly. That's what it is. But as a teammate, I believe he's a good teammate. Everyone that plays with him, he can tell you. Obviously, he's a bit crazy sometimes in trainings. You can see he was a bit like that, and he's gone. But as a teammate, he was a nice guy, very nice guy, and he always treated me really well. We have a good relationship, so sure. I cannot talk bad about him. The opposite, obviously, like I say, he's done things outside of football that he's not being clever from his side, and probably he knows that. But in terms of as a teammate, I believe everyone or most of the ex-teammates that will tell you he's a nice guy.
And was that a good dressing room to be in? Was it a fun dressing room? Like I said, there was a lot of big names in there. Was it a good spirit in the team? I think you finished in your first season mid-table, wasn't it?
Yeah, we finished in mid-table. I believe it was a good dressing room, obviously with big names. But like I said, big names sometimes it doesn't mean anything. For example, since the first day I arrived, I don't knowing one word of English. And Mark Viduka, that was one of the biggest names on the team. He was every single day having breakfast, me and him on our own, trying to talk with my shitty English, with his shitty Spanish, and be there for maybe an hour and a half together talking, trying to, really? And at the end, we understand each other. He's so much patient with me, has his coffee, and I say, sorry, Mark, my English. He said, don't worry, patience, keep talking. He loved to talk about boats. He loved boats, and he saw boats. Yeah, he loved boats, and he saw me pictures about boats, and we have an amazing relationship with Femi Martins the same. With the English speakers, proper English sometimes was difficult with Michael Owen and everything because the accent was obviously a lot stronger, so it was a lot more difficult for me to understand.
Speak a lot quicker, don't they?
Yeah, but after the first year with Joey Barton, with all of them, Nicky Butt as well was really funny. Nicky Butt was really, really funny.
Yeah.
So we have a good dressing room, to be honest. We have a good dressing room. Obviously, when the things are bad and we relegate that season, that obviously we're still not in that point, but when we relegate that season, obviously when the things are not going well as a team, obviously the dressing room, you get mad at each other because at the end you don't want to blame yourself, you blame someone else. But as a team, how we get between us, we get well.
Sure.
We really got well, yeah.
And so that season you got relegated, that's one of the kind of, there's a few teams down the years where you always think, they were a bit too good to go down. And when Leeds went down one year, early sort of in the early 2000s, late 90s, you thought they were too good to go down. I think your Newcastle team looked like one of those teams where you looked at the season, you thought, how have they gone down with the sort of the squad you had? What do you think that was down to? Kind of the changing of managers halfway through? What do you put it down to?
I believe it's everything, and obviously if we knew the answer, then probably we would have put a solution and we didn't relegate, obviously. But I believe it was at the end, so many mistakes in there, and the principal, obviously, it was the players, so obviously us, because at the end, in the club can happen anything. They can change managers, they can do whatever, but at the end, who get on the pitch and play, at the end is the players, and if you're not performing well, it's not because of someone else, it's because of yourself. And in a team like that, you have to perform. So at the end, the first ones to be blamed for is the players, it's us. But obviously, like you say, it didn't help a lot of things that they were going on, changing managers, so many managers, and things like that. Obviously, it didn't help. But like I said, the main problem was us. Obviously, as a team, don't know what's the reason we didn't click on the pitch. Off the pitch, like I said, yeah, we have a very good relationship, and in trainings it was fun a lot of times. But on the pitch, I don't know what's happened. We didn't click.
Sure. And obviously, you went down playing in the Championship. I guess that was obviously a bit of a step down for that year. Were you ever tempted to try and get a move back to the Premier League, or did you just think we'll just get back up in one season? And were you enjoying yourself at Newcastle that much?
To be honest, that was the changing season for me in my career in England, really, as a player, because my first season was very difficult. I didn't play good enough, I have to say it. My second season, I did okay. I will give an okay for, obviously, that's my opinion. Obviously, sure. Everyone's opinion is different, but mine is like that. And then the championship season was the season that it really hit me, and I believe even the club, I think it was really good. I think, obviously, it's strange to say that, but I think it was even good for the club to relegate, and I believe so many fans that will agree with that, because a lot of players that didn't want to stay, it was the perfect excuse for them to go.
Of course.
And they leave. And the players we wanted to stay, we have a meeting. I remember we lost a friendly game in precision 6-1. And that was a point that from there we decide we talk, we have a big meeting with the board, and then we have a big meeting, just the players. And at the end, the club understand as well that some players didn't want to stay. So even if they have to bad sell them or whatever, it doesn't matter, because when someone is not happy, it's better to don't be in that place. So the players that didn't want to stay, they left. And the ones we wanted to stay, will stay.
That's amazing. So after that pre-season game, there was a meeting between the board, meeting between the players, and literally after that, it was like, if you're not committed,
exactly,
this is not for you. That's amazing.
Because sometimes the club as well, they wanted to keep the big players, obviously, because they thought with that big players we could promote easier. Sure. But the reality, yeah, it's true. If you have bigger players, it's easier to promote. I believe we have an amazing team to promote. That's why we did as well. Mm-hmm. But obviously, players like Viduka, Michael Owen, or Martins never play there. They play massive teams. They don't want to stay. Why you want to keep them there? And big salaries as well. So they don't want to stay. It's fair enough as well. It's fair enough. They don't want to stay. It's fair enough, in my opinion. It's up to them. At the end, it's their life. They have lives outside of football as well. They don't want to stay. It's their decision. So they didn't decide to stay. But in my case, for example, like I said to you, I never like to leave things in the middle. I never, in my life, when I start something, I like to finish it. And it was my mistake. One of the guys who has the mistake is from me, because I was one of the players to relegate that team. So I have offers to go to La Liga that summer, but I decided to stay. I said, listen, no, I'm staying here. It was my mistake to stay here. And it was a wake-up call as well, I believe, for us as a players and for the club as a club as well, I believe. So we signed Chris Hughton as well. That for me, he was key for us. Yeah, he was key because he got a team that it was broke completely, and he put us together. And I believe every single player loved him so much as a manager and as a man as well. I have so much appreciation for Chris Hughton. And I believe he was the main guy to make that team together and to push us all together to promote. And it looks, if you look back, people say, no, with that team, it was any manager could have done it. It's not like that. You could have think that way. When we were in the Premier League, we have amazing players. We have Sam Allardyce with so much experience. And look, at the end, we relegate. So it's not that. I believe Chris was as older you get, you trust more how important the manager role is. Sure. And I believe Chris was key for us in that moment to put us together, to believe in ourselves again, to promote that team. Definitely, 100%.
Well, you can see that, people might say any manager would have got the team up, but you can see how many teams are still in the Championship now, who were who you thought would have gone straight back up. Even look at Sunderland now, who are in League One. So
Look,
it's not
Bolton, for example.
Bolton. Yeah, there's a lot of teams who Middlesbrough, who think people can just that they can just go straight back up. But I mean, you how hard was the Championship? You played in it, so you tell me how hard it was compared to what's the difference actually as well playing in the Premier League.
Compared with the Premier League, they call it Premier League 2, really.
Yeah.
At the end, it's like Premier League. Obviously, Premier League changed a lot now, in my opinion, compared when I used to play there, because it's not as many English managers as before. So in terms of, not in a negative way, obviously in a positive way, because English football is being more always living with a big English striker, put the ball there, cross it in, and everything like that. And now, still teams in England that play that way, and for me it works. Look, in Spain, it's teams that they play that way now, and it works for me.
Yeah.
If I was a manager, I maybe play that way because this is the easiest way, to be honest. Look, Getafe last year did an amazing season with not much money, and this year they are in the Champions League position or fighting for Champions League again. So, and they play that way. They put the ball behind the fullbacks, run, cross in, and at the end, the ball goes in. At the end, it's about intensity, and you have to respect everyone how they play. And the Championship was a lot like that, very difficult games, a lot of balls in the box. So it wasn't easy to play. Obviously, players, you can see, is not as much quality as in the Premier League. That's why it's the difference in one league to the other. But in terms of intensity, it was really intensely, and more everyone wanted to beat us. Everyone wanted to beat Newcastle. Was the team to beat. It was the Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool team in the Championship. You know what I mean? So at the end, was that team to beat. And every time we play away from home, the teams give 200% to beat us. Because they were so motivated to play against us. And obviously that put it difficult. But at the same time, in my case, for example, it motivated me to go more and to try to beat them even more. So it was a good season. It was, for me, one of the best seasons as a player for how much I enjoy as a player there as well.
That's interesting to be. Yeah, that was in the Championship. I mean, I guess it must have been nice as well to Newcastle. They're a huge team, but they haven't had that much success in terms of winning trophies or finishing high in their league position. So actually, in a way, like you said, going down and winning a league, that must have been really good for the city and the club as well.
Yeah, the city was amazing, and me in particular, with me, they give me player of the season that season. Yeah. It was incredible that, from a fullback getting that. And obviously we play at home, 42,000 people in the Championship. We play away from home, sold out away tickets games, all away ticket games, every game that we play away from home, sold out completely. So the support was incredible. Every time you went into the city for whatever, people like, keep going, Jose, let's do it. We're going to promote. So positive. So it's an amazing place. It's a club that I will always recommend. I know they're struggling now a bit, they've been doing things a bit bad sometimes, maybe, in my opinion. But it's a team that I would recommend to a player to go, because to play for them fans and that city is really nice. Yeah.
I think it's still. I think, like you said, even though they've sold a lot of players and they haven't had the best success in recent years, it's still seen as one of the biggest clubs in England. So I think it'll always be a club where players are going to get drawn to, like you were.